All right, welcome to this explainer. Let's get right into it. You know that feeling when you've just lost an entire hour doom scrolling and you have absolutely no idea where the time went? Well, today we are breaking down the exact science of how that happens. We're looking at a fascinating, highly concentrated source document simply known as the Cinematic Viral Narrative Blueprint. Look, the stakes for capturing and holding human attention have literally never been higher, and this blueprint, it offers a highly specific masterclass on exactly how to pull it off.
Everyone laughed at him until they discovered who he really was. Seriously, just think about what just happened in your brain right there. You immediately want to know who he is, right? You want to know exactly why they were laughing, and most importantly, you're dying to know what the big reveal is. That right there is a shocking hook in action. It's taken directly from our source material today, and it is step one in this meticulously engineered, high-stakes formula that's designed to stop a scrolling thumb dead in its tracks. Okay, so let's quickly dive into our roadmap for today. First, we'll outline the viral narrative blueprint as a whole. Then, we'll dissect that critical 3-second hook. After that, we'll explore building emotional suspense, take a peek under the hood at the cinematic technical engine, and finally arrive at the twist and action.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the viral narrative blueprint defining the formula.
So what's absolutely incredible about this source material is just how dense and highly specific these rules are. There is literally zero room for fluff or experimentation here. It is a rigid framework designed for maximum impact. The blueprint demands a 45-second cinematic short video containing a powerful, original, and unforgettable emotional story. I really want you to pause and think about that extreme time constraint. You have exactly 3/4 of a minute. In that tiny little window, you don't just have to tell a story. You have to make sure it is powerful, you have to make sure it is emotional, and it has to be unforgettable. It's this massive creative challenge compressed into mere seconds, which means every single frame has to justify its existence.
Now you might be wondering, why exactly 45 seconds? Well, because this blueprint targets YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram Reels, it has to respect a pretty harsh algorithmic reality. Basically, even a 1-second dip in engagement completely kills your retention curve. To survive and thrive in an ecosystem where the algorithm relentlessly punishes any lull in pacing, your format has to be perfectly calibrated. It's not just about making a short piece of content, it's about packing immense narrative density into a format that appeases the algorithmic gods of the big three platforms.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 3-second hook, securing attention.
Let's look at the absolute beginning of our timeline. 3 seconds is all you have. According to the source material, this is the make or break window of your entire production. A goldfish famously has an attention span of about 9 seconds, and in our modern digital landscape, human beings give you a third of that to prove your worth. It's crazy. If you do not instantly secure their attention right here in these first 3 seconds, the rest of that 45-second timeline doesn't even matter. The viewer is already gone and the algorithm has already noted the bounce.
The mandate from the text here is incredibly clear. You must start with a shocking hook that instantly grabs attention. Going back to that "everyone laughed at him" quote we opened with, that immediately poses a high-stakes question. Psychologically speaking, this creates what's called an open loop, or a curiosity gap. The human brain actually experiences mild discomfort when presented with a compelling unknown, and it desperately wants that loop closed. A truly shocking hook essentially forces the viewer to stay just to relieve that psychological tension.
Okay, Section 3, building emotional suspense, the middle arc.
Right. So once you have them hooked, we immediately have to build suspense. The source lays out 3 very specific layers that must be executed in perfect synergy to construct this middle arc. Step 1 is dramatic music. Step 2 requires smooth transitions, and Step 3 demands realistic visuals. By combining these exact elements, blending the subconscious auditory cue of dramatic music with the seamless visual flow of smooth transitions and grounded, realistic imagery, you manufacture this intense, almost palpable suspense. The music basically sets the viewer's heart rate, the transitions ensure their eye never stops moving, and the realism grounds the stakes. It locks them right into a state of hyperfocus. Actually, hold on, because all of that technical suspense is completely useless if the core story is generic. The blueprint explicitly states the narrative must be original and unforgettable. You aren't just stringing together dramatic sounds and nice transitions hoping for the best. Those technical elements must serve a narrative that stands completely on its own as a unique piece of micro-storytelling. It has to feel fresh and punchy, offering a perspective or a conflict that the viewer hasn't already swiped past 100 times today.
Which brings us to Section 4, the Cinematic Technical Engine, High Wire Specs.
Now we're going to shift gears to the technical demands behind all of this, and the sheer level of quality expected here is staggering. The required specs include high-quality 4K visuals, movie-style color grading, emotional sound effects, and fast-paced editing. Packing these highly specific, high-end production elements into a mere 45 seconds is exactly what makes the final product truly cinematic rather than just another disposable social media post. Literally every pixel and decibel is optimized for maximum impact.
To put that into perspective, the difference between your standard point-and-shoot phone video and this cinematic blueprint is night and day. It's those mandatory 4K visuals and carefully graded colors that trick the viewer's brain into feeling like they're watching a mini-movie. By utilizing high-end emotional sound effects that are precisely timed to fast-paced cuts, you elevate the original story. You give it a weight and depth that forces the audience to treat it as a premium viewing experience, even if they're just watching it on their phone on the subway.
Finally, Section 5, the twist and action, the final climax. Racing into those final seconds, we can actually map out this entire 45-second process chronologically. At 0 seconds, boom, we deploy our shocking hook to open that psychological loop. By 15 seconds, we are deeply building that emotional suspense through our audio-visual synergy. At 30 seconds, the fast-paced edits are driving the momentum to an absolute fever pitch. And right at 45 seconds, the entire structure culminates on one singular event, a surprising twist. Every single technical and narrative choice we've discussed so far is engineered strictly to deliver this final high-impact payload.
The ultimate goal of this twist is explicitly stated in the blueprint. You must leave viewers speechless. Think about the last time you shared something with a friend. You probably didn't do it because someone politely asked you to at the end of their vlog, right? You shared it because you were so stunned, amused, or moved by the payoff that you literally could not keep it to yourself. And that is the genius of this blueprint. If you successfully engineer that moment of sheer surprise at the very end, the call to action doesn't have to be forced or desperate. Encouraging likes, shares, and follows just happens completely organically.
So we've seen the mechanics, the shocking 3-second hook, the multi-layered suspense, the 4K cinematic engine, and the climactic twist, all packed into 3/4 of a minute. It's a rigid but incredibly powerful formula for modern storytelling, specifically designed to bypass algorithmic hurdles and tap directly into human psychology. The only thing left to ask based on this blueprint is this: will your next 45 seconds leave them speechless? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this gives you a whole new lens on how viral narratives are constructed.